Hi everyone, it's Joe with My Things to Do, and today I want to show you my no-sew or barely sew mask that I've been making. This one is one of my no-sew, and each one that I am making, they do have pockets to be able to put filters in. So I'm going to show you how I've made my mask using baby blanket that I got at Dollar Tree. This actually came from some napkins that I had at the house that weren't using at all. T-shirt. I got this from Michael's, and since it came as one, it wasn't thick enough and I couldn't put a filter in it, I doubled them and made it to where you could have a filter inside. And I made this one to be worn reversible. Let me show you what I've been using. Here's some fat quarters that Tiffany got from Walmart. If you're lucky enough to still find some there, you definitely want to pick some up. These are just some of the napkins that I have in my house, brand new. And one napkin can actually make a mask for both me and Tiffany. And then I've got t-shirt. This is one that I picked up from Dollar Tree. This is a size medium shirt, so we're going to get a few masks out of this one. And at Michael's, I picked up this package that had 10 of these masks in them. And as you see, it's just felt. There's no way of putting a filter in here, and I didn't want that, so I did double them up to make a mask with a filter. And you're asking right about now, okay, so if I didn't sew these, what did I do? What I used was the Aleen's fabric glue. It's the super fabric adhesive, and you can find that in Amazon. I'll put a link below for that. The other thing that I picked up was this Elmer's Extreme Glue. It's for bigger, tougher projects, but the important part of it is that it is made for fabric and it's washable, and so is the Aleen's, and I have a little bit left here that I'm using. It's non-toxic, it's made for fabric, and washable. So let's get started. Let me show you how I make my no-sew mask. That's for those of us who can't sew or barely can. The first thing I'm going to do is I've got my pattern laid out. This is the face part, and this is the pocket for the filter. I've turned my t-shirt inside out, and I'm going to use a pen to trace around my pattern, mainly because, again, I don't sew, so I don't really have sewing pins around where I'd be able to pin this down, which I'm sure would be so much better. But because I don't have those pins, I'm just going to trace this out with my pen. Voila. I didn't trace the hole because I'm going to show you how I'm going to make the hole a little bit later. Now, the original pattern that I found for this didn't have a pocket for a filter, and I knew that I wanted to have a filter, so I just simply made a pattern based off of this. I've got my cutting mat down, And I'm going to just cut this so that I can work with it a lot easier. Watch your fingers, you don't want to cut yourself. So I've got everything down and I'm just going to go around the pattern. Just follow the lines. Here comes the most easiest part of the whole thing, and that's gluing it together. Like I said, you can use either one of these glues, and I've used both. I just really like this one. What I like to do is just fold up the top part and start applying my glue. And just like you would with sewing it, you want to have like, you know, a fourth of a space down that you're putting the glue. You are going to spread it up that way so it will cover it completely. And you're just going to go all the way down. There we go. And then you just fold this up. I like to come back and pat it down like so. You do get a little gooey gluey. Then I come back in and I just squeeze them. And yes, your fingers are going to be sticky from this glue because I can feel it through the cloth, but that's okay. I'm just making sure that this has a nice strong seal. This is going to have to take some time to dry. And let's move our filter pocket over and do the same thing. Come in. And get the glue going all the way down. There. And fold this back. So by folding it, you don't have to worry about trying to line it perfectly up because all you have to do is lay it back in its original spot. No needles needed. We're going to let those dry. I have another set here that's already dried. And now we're going to put the pieces together. So remember, this is the inside and this is our outside. That's how it's going to look when it's all done. We'll get that cleaned up there as well. Alright, so now we're going to put our filter piece in. It's going to go in like this. So what we're going to do, this is really a messy part, but if you don't mind a little mess, you'll be just fine. Taking our glue, and we're gonna, same thing we've already been doing, we're just gonna run it about 1/4 of an inch from the edge and come all the way down. We're gonna do the same thing down here. Alright, I've done this doing one side at a time, both sides at one time. Honestly, I just like getting the glue down on both sides and just going from there. Yes, it's messy, but guess what? It's messy doing it whichever way I do it. You want to make sure you have complete coverage. Sometimes the glue does skip a bit. There we go. And now, I'm going to line up top to top. And follow the natural curve. I'll do the same thing on this side. So we're lining up the tops first. And all you need to do is just pat it to get it to stay. And flip it. Let's do the bottom. Alright, there we go. So that's glued down. This is going to have to dry, but we can still finish it off while it's drying. And remember the ear part I talked about? Here's where we're going to get that done at. Got this, we're going to fold it in half. And we're going to make the hole. I'm just making a half circle. Voila, we have the ear part. And we can clean some of this up here. You know, the edges are going to be rough. You can always, you know, just clean that up. There. And then right in here, I like to take this and just, there we go. And there. Mask is ready. Now this has to dry before I can put the filter in. So that's mask number 1. For mask number 2, I'm going to use one of my Waverly fat quarters and this mask that I got from the package that I picked up from Michael's. Now I want this mask to be worn either way, so this will be a reversible mask. There. I have it all out. And the thing that I definitely do like is that it has slits in there for the different sizes, whether you wear it large or wear it smaller. But also when you put the two fabrics together, you can use these slits to put the filter in. Like before, I'm going to trace around this with my pen. Right, here we go, it's all cut out. And this time I'm going to use the extreme glue. I have no reason other than, you know, just to show you. Now the directions does say on here that for things like wood and so forth to use a heavy amount, for fabric to use a light amount. Well, I'm not using exactly a light amount because I do want to make sure that this does stay together. And you know, this will be washed several times. Do you notice how as I'm going around it's kind of stopping and skipping? That's from the pressure or non-pressure that I'm putting on the bottle. which is okay because I'm going to go back and make sure that those dots link up. I want no spacing between them. Now this part can get a bit messy because I'm going to lay it down as best I can. Sometimes I'm okay with it, and sometimes I get some glue up on the top. I'm going to do my best to not do that. And I'm just making sure that, you know, it is sticking together. And if there's any curls, uncurl it so it's flat. All right, we're going to let this one dry. I've got one over here that I've put together. Here it is. Once it was dry, I went back and opened up the slit there. The only reason I didn't do it here is because, you know, I know who's going to be wearing this, so there's no need for me to add a second slit in. Now let me show you how you put the filter in this. All right, so this is a filter from Filtret. I'll put a link in the description below, but this particular filter I ordered on Amazon. I just couldn't find it in the store, and it does filter viruses. All right, and so here's my slit, and then I'm going to come in on this side as well and grab that. Make sure that I open it up inside. I like that accordion because you just open up the accordion once it's inside, and there we go. You have a filtered mask that's reversible if you would like to wear it like that. Because of the glue, I've got some dust bunnies on here. I just need to wipe that off. And you just take the filter out, throw this in the wash, and on you go.